My biggest goal whenever we're working with somebody is that they would find a way to be prepared for anything that could ever come in front of them, and they would stare at it and say, I can do that. Right.
Yeah.
And that mom who's just had her 2 kids and she's pretty sure she's destined for like nothingness the rest of the way, she can come in and rediscover exactly how amazing she is.
Yeah.
And what's capable for her next 45 years of her life. I'm K.Y.L.E, and this is the Know Your Leading Edge podcast. Well, welcome to the Know Your Leading Edge podcast. I'm your host, K.Y.L.E, and I am honored today to be with our fantastic coach, Sonya Chamberlain. Sonya is a phenomenal coach and person, more so than even coach. But outside of this place, you play so many roles. You're a midwife. I just recently got the joke about your bumper sticker, which was fantastic. So if you've seen Sonya around town, she has here in Wenatchee, she has a vehicle that has a bumper sticker that says "Midwives help people out." And it took me about a year to figure that joke out because I'm very slow.
A little bit of time.
Very cool. Well, Sonya is one of our fantastic coaches here at Leaf, and we're really excited to get a chance to talk with her about her CrossFit journey, about her fitness journey, her life journey as a mom, as a fantastic athlete, as a career professional in midwife. And we're going to learn a little bit about her education background, which I learned a little bit today as well. So Sonya went to Whitman College. This is her return trip to Washington State. And Sonya, you were, where did you grow up? Remind me where you grew up.
Colorado and then Ellensburg.
Colorado.
Yep. So
then to Ellensburg.
The West.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
And from Ellensburg, where did you end up? Where'd you go from there?
Yeah. So Ellensburg, then to Walla Walla for Whitman, for my BA, and then hopped around between Washington and the Midwest for the next 20 years or so until now.
Got it. Washington and that's because you had some different family had moved. And,
it was mostly just jobs. So
really?
Yeah, after Whitman, then we were out in Wisconsin for a couple of years for work, then back in Spokane, then back in Minnesota. And that's where we were for 15 years until now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you got your Bachelor of Arts in English from Whitman.
Correct.
Did you do your graduate stuff there as well?
No. So my master's was through a program in North Carolina.
Okay.
At Wilson College in Asheville.
Cool.
Yeah. So
all right.
Was there for a little while and then Spokane and hopped all over the place.
So I had no idea, but Sonya, your Master's of Fine Arts in Creative Writing because you
poetry.
Used to.
Yes. I write poetry. Yes.
Poetry.
Yep. Which was my intent from age about 7th grade. I decided this is what I'm going to do and went for it.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
How did you build on that? Do your parents were like, yeah, no, that seems totally reasonable. Let's go with this poetry situation.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they were always just like, do what you want to do.
Yeah.
You know, there was no like a poet, you're going to be poor, you know, which is true.
That's really funny.
But yeah, I got my English degree and then ended up getting a scholarship for graduate school, which was what made it possible. Because, graduate school is expensive. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, then did poetry. And then right about the time I was finishing up that master's is when we had our daughter. And so then I was just focusing on being a parent for a few years. And then that swerved me over into my new profession.
Do you have some poetry books at home? You got some jams you want to throw on the podcast today, or what?
I don't
you
know.
got some more?
I don't know. That's
putting you on the spot here, Sonya.
That's a little more of a left turn than people might want.
Okay, fair point. So, and then you took that left turn.
Yeah.
When did you decide that you wanted to go into medicine? Where was that?
It was between my 2 kids.
Yeah.
So 2000. Let's get this right for my daughter's sake. 4, she was born.
Okay.
And and then just kind of started getting interested in it, in like midwifery care and women's health. And so, pursued it shortly after my son was born, and spent the next 5 years or so training and apprenticing. Wow. And so it was about a 5-year process.
Wow.
And got licensed in late 2013.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good. Do you love your profession?
I do. I totally love it. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
What's the best part about it?
I think watching people with firsts, first baby, first time going through labor, people turning into parents for the first time. There's lots of fun things about it, but it's different every day, and it makes it worth it when you're up all night and you get to be with people at this really super intense moment in their life,
for sure,
that not many people get to witness. Yeah. So it feels like kind of a secret life sometimes, but it's cool. That's really cool.
Well, it's I can only imagine. What's great, if you're out there and you're looking for a midwife, a lot of our clients happen to also have somehow, like we keep finding clients through the same relationship. So it's pretty cool too. They're like, oh man, my wife, I think, is actually working with Sonya.
Right.
It's really cool. So we're birthing our next generation of CrossFitters right through your practice.
That's right.
So
that's right.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So we, here at Leading Edge Athletics and Fitness, we get the chance to work with all types of people. You come from a unique background in that you didn't play a whole pile of sports and you weren't
zero
athletic, right? You were at home just jamming on some poetry,
I was a school obsessed kid, music.
Okay.
Played cello and piano and sang in choirs and, kind of went that route. But really, when I look back on it, I spent a lot of time kind of looking down on the jock group.
Oh, really?
But I think really I was jealous. I think I wanted to be part of it, but I was nervous. And, and I would always say I'm just, that's not my thing. I'm not competitive.
Yeah.
But I think what it was, now that I can see it, I think I was actually super competitive and I didn't want to lose. And so I didn't want to try it, which is not the best attitude, but when you're 12 or 15 or whatever, and I see that in my son, I think he actually is hyper competitive, but he's so afraid of, not doing a good job that he's like, no, I'm not going to do that, So anyway, I did throughout late grade school and junior high run. That was the only thing I did.
Got it.
So would sign up for a 10K with a friend once in a while but never did anything consistent beyond forced PE class.
Forced PE.
And then in college, people are like, let's go to the pool or let's go on a jog. So I started just kind of doing stuff, never team sports. Cause by then you kind of feel like you've missed the boat, nobody taught me how to play basketball or I don't know the rules of soccer and now I'm going to look like an idiot. So there was a lot of fear of I don't know how to do those things. I'm not gonna, once in a while you go out and, play some Frisbee with people or whatever, but I was just nah, it's not my thing. But I think I always kind of wanted it to be. I just didn't know how to break in.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So nothing
let's
consistent.
talk more about your family. So we brought up your son and your daughter. So and Lawrence is a part of the gym here. So tell us a little bit about your family.
So my husband Lori and I met in at Walla actually at Whitman.
Yeah.
And our first connection was actually because we both had joined rowing teams when we studied abroad.
Yeah.
Our college didn't have a rowing team. So that was our first date. That was his hook. He said, hey, let's go to the gym and row together.
Lori's got some serious game.
So that's how we kind of started hanging out near the end of college. And we have 2 kids, daughter and a son. They're teenagers. Do
they have names?
They do. Edie and August.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And I think
I say that jokingly. I love both of them very much. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure their names actually got out in the public. So. It's been fun to have them in the CrossFit world. But my daughter more than my son is interested in everything we do in the gym. But that's one of the main motivations one of the reasons I keep doing it is to watch her. I think especially for a lot of teenage girls, there comes this balance point where you kind of stop having fun, on the playground or whatever. Cause I remember as a kid, I was doing flips around the bars and all sorts of things that
Now, if I did those in the gym, people would be like, oh my gosh, that's an amazing trick,
Right.
And when you're 9, you don't even know you're doing it.
Yeah.
And then you get into junior high and the playground goes away.
Yeah.
And then you have to try and be thin. That's the project as a female. That's the assignment, and it's so ingrained. And so then you spend, or at least this was my experience, spend the next 10, 15 years just like, what do I need to do to be thin? I need to run. Need to not eat. That's about it. Yeah. So to be able to raise a daughter in an environment around other, not just women, just people.
Yeah.
Because in a CrossFit gym, there's so much equality, I think, of no one's like, oh, well, the ladies can't pick up the heavy stuff.
Sure.
Because half the time the girls are kicking the boys' butts.
For sure.
And so for a daughter at age 13 to come in and be like, oh, wait, so the project is to be strong and not skinny was huge for her.
Yeah.
Cause I'm a big person. My husband's a big person. We're not 5'1". I don't weigh 120. That was never going to be the path.
Yeah.
And so she got to see that at a really formative time.
Yeah.
And it's made a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're both tremendous. I really appreciate both of them. And August gets the chance to come in here, and he takes good ownership of the gym. He
does.
Helps clean it.
Yep.
Loves to be in here and have his hands in the project. And I've had the chance to coach Edie too, and they're just wonderful. They're wonderful extensions of both you and Lori and your parenting and just the quality of their character is it's so cool. And it's really cool for me to have Edie be a person who I can say, hey, to my own daughters to say, do you see what she's doing? Do you? And that they can find ways to aspire. So I think as a father of 2 daughters myself, that really concerns me, the things that you're talking about. And we're already starting to emerge with some of those things that we need to address. It's a hard puzzle.
It is.
But
it is.
It's one of the things that is really important about an environment like this. And one of the reasons that we chose to do something really hard, which was to create a gym, because my hope was that my children and plenty of children in this community could come in and find their value through hard work and character and being around people who really want to chase goals and work hard and earn things and not just be given things. So anyway, well, that's cool. I certainly, I adore your family, and we're grateful that you guys decided to come back from all the lakes of Minnesota back to Washington.
We are too.
So Sonya, had at the start of our gym here in April, we had kind of a task. We really wanted to establish this new class offering that we didn't feel like really existed here in our local community, and which was around functional fitness. But a lot of folks are pretty it's a little too complex, CrossFit is, or maybe it's a little unapproachable. Maybe they don't have time necessarily, or maybe mentally they just don't want to have to learn every day. So we crafted this class, pardon my language there. We crafted this class called Greenlight. And that Greenlight, it means when you get in here, you can just go. And you've been the chief architect for the programming there. 45 minutes.
Yep.
Very interval based most of the time, some circuit work, mostly body weight. Can you talk to us a little bit talk to the listeners about what is Greenlight? Who's it for, and why are we doing it? And then tell us about maybe what you've seen through the people who have been taking that Greenlight class.
Yeah. So, you spoke a little bit to what Greenlight is, but really it's, I think it's an entry point for people who need, like you said, a high efficiency exercise, something where they can get in. They don't have to have a lot of skills under their belt.
Yep.
They can walk in the first day and just do the workout, not be too confused by a lot of the movements. We do a lot of body weight stuff. We use simple implements that aren't hard to control, dumbbells and kettlebells and in jump ropes, but things that people are usually pretty familiar with.
Yep.
But I think what sets it apart from, just maybe going to a class at another gym or working out on your own on the fitness machines is, what a lot of CrossFit gyms have, which I think Leaf has, is this really deep community feel to it.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why a lot of people are committed to their CrossFit gyms.
Yeah.
And so Greenlight creates that without the piece of kind of the CrossFit intimidation thing that I think a lot of people have.
Yeah.
So some people are like, I don't know, I can't pick up a barbell. I can't do all that fancy stuff. It's like, okay, just take that out of the picture for a minute. It's all the same stuff. So what you get, I think, in Greenlight classes is what we're starting to see is a lot of cohesion around the same people coming all the time, bringing their friends. We try and do a mix of days where the workouts are on your own, and then other days are team-based, where you have a partner, maybe you have a couple people, you're in a little group of 3. And it's a shared experience. So it's something that really, it creates bonding just because everybody's doing the same thing all together, with coaching, with a lot of attention to form, and making sure that everybody's safe and performing well. And what I see is kind of the light bulb going on for a lot of people of like, oh, I'm getting stronger. I have more stamina. I always like to ask people in class, what are you noticing after coming for a while that doesn't have to do with the gym?
Yeah.
Because I think that's the most interesting thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are like, well, I'm sleeping better, or
Sure.
I can sit at my desk after my workout and my back doesn't hurt. And because it's different every day, we have different workouts every day. It's not like, oh, we're going to go and do the bike again. That's what we always do at Greenlight. You know, if you don't look ahead of time at the workout, you have no idea what's coming.
Right.
And a lot of people really like that. They don't have to think about it, but they know it's going to be fresh. Yeah. And they get to push themselves in a way they wouldn't if they were in a gym by themselves.
For sure.
Or just going out and jogging by themselves.
Yeah.
I just like to see the consistency that people have started to form.
Yeah.
And they're excited to be here. You know, they're cutting out of work to get here on time and, you know, get everything done. And it's exciting.
I think one of the things that I've found, people every day, I'll look at the program. I'm like, I wonder how this one's going to go. Because Sonya, you're writing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know as a programmer, sometimes you're on the other end and you're like, I wonder how this one's going to go. I'll look at it and I'll look at them and say, oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, this was a good one, you know, and it just continues to affirm that. So it's really cool. The other thing that you did speak about already, but I just want to reemphasize is that it's 45 minutes and they can come in and really shut off their brains. So many of the folks that we have coming to this gym for Greenlight, they're really in high intensity professionals. We've got physicians, we've got lawyers, we've got people who are doing a really high pressure sales work in the agricultural industry, fruit industry. And frankly, they need a place where they can come to, know they're going to be safe and absolutely shut off the buttons outside. And so when they show up for our Greenlight classes, they know that we have their back, that we're going to keep them safe and that they can come in and just go for it. Yeah. And so, you know, if that's you out there and you're not sure whether or not this thing is for you, we've got a free trial class. Frankly, if you need 3 free trial classes, you come in and make sure it's the right fit for you. But man, I couldn't be more excited to see how it's impacting people's lives. And what's wonderful about it too is the step off point to saying, oh, you know, we bump right up into CrossFit. And then people start to realize I am capable of these things. Yeah. And the other hidden part is that we're not doing different things. These are not different coaches. When you coach Greenlight at 11:45, you coach CrossFit at 12:30. You're getting the same expert coaching in both classes. Right. And what makes this place different, what makes what we do different is that you know everyone and you care to make sure that we send them out. I talk to people about this a lot. You come in, however you come in, whatever you bring in with, we're going to challenge you just enough. We're going to send you back out the door healthy, energized, and ready to take on the rest of your day. We're not trying to destroy you. We're trying to build you up. So our job as coaches is really to dose that appropriately, put the right program together, and make sure that you can be challenged and be better when you leave. I think your programming and your coaching and the coaching across the board with our staff has been exactly that. So very excited and grateful to you for all the work that it takes.
Yeah,
Because
it's
on the
fun.
back end, it can be a little bit, you're sort of hanging out, hoping that what you're writing is good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about you as a coach and an athlete, as a CrossFit athlete. We talked about the fact that it wasn't maybe in your background. So where did you get started? Why did you get started? And then transitioned in. Now you're a coach of the thing.
Right. I think, after having kids, I kind of went back to just jogging, which is probably kind of when you have little babies, it's just like put on your shoes and run out the door as best as you can. That's your alone time.
Sure.
So that worked for a while, but especially as I was getting into midwifery at the time, the way I was practicing when we lived in the Midwest was I did a lot of driving as well.
Midwifery is a very fun word to say.
Midwifery.
Sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
And so anyway, all the driving, all the sitting, the, being with people a long time in labor in weird positions and you're crouched over, you're doing all these things. It was really hard on my body.
Yeah.
And I'd really had back pain and back issues off and on since I was about 18.
Yeah.
Which I later figured out was probably because all I was doing was running and not really getting strong. But at the time I didn't know that. Anyway, so my husband and I were, by that point, we kind of liked to exercise together and we wanted to stay fit. And we tried some different things, mainly just on our own.
Yeah.
When the kids were little, we would go to the Y and I would do the elliptical and the treadmill because that's what ladies are supposed to do. And he'd go in the weight room.
Yep.
And the weight room intimidated me, you know.
It's hilarious, by the way, that's the case.
I know. It is hilarious. So we had a few friends when we moved to Minnesota who were doing this CrossFit thing. And I was like, that sounds kind of weird. A lot of barbell. I don't know. And they said, oh, you'd like it. I bet you'd like it. And I thought, no, that's just it's not in the cards. And I was intimidated. I didn't really know anything about CrossFit. So I didn't have any vision of the elite people or anything like that. I just thought it sounds hardcore, man. I don't know. But a friend finally convinced me to come and try. And so I think it was probably only about 2 classes in. And I thought, I think I kind of found my thing.
That's cool. That's cool.
And I just got hooked. And my husband, Lori, for about 2 months, he was like, what are you doing over there? I heard that's like a cult or something, and he's like, you're going to start buying all these weird clothes. And, he completely poo-pooed it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
But then I think he started seeing how much I was liking it. And he's like, oh, wait a minute. You get to deadlift in there? I'm like, yeah. So I pulled him in pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then it was off to the races.
That's so good.
And really right away, what it was that gym that we joined in Minnesota.
What was the name of that?
CrossFit Grow.
CrossFit Grow. Shout out CrossFit Grow.
Yes. The people there.
Yeah.
And that's, and really the reason we are here is because the kind of gym community that we found there is what we wanted to retain, super awesome leadership, great cohesion of coaches, just people who are going to greet you when you walk in the door. Yeah. We're all in this together, great friends. Right away, I found a group of people that were like, you should do a competition. And I'm like, what? Hell no.
Sure. Sure.
But they were like, oh, come on. Have you run a 5K with your friends before? And I said, yeah. They're like, then sign up.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of kept going. And you do get addicted in the best way to the fact that you're learning all these new things and you're seeing progress. And especially when you start, you're lifting more and more all the time and you're learning all these things. I can probably count on 2 hands, but at least one, the things that I've learned since I turned 40 that I had just pushed to the back of the drawer and thought those are things I never learned to do as a kid in gym class. Yeah. And I'll never they're not available to me anymore because I'm not young. I'm not strong enough.
Yeah. I mean, you're nearly dead at this point, right? I mean, you're what? You're a mom and now
I'm 43. I've got one foot in the grave.
Exactly.
But I never in gym class, when you're 6 years old, they just say, climb the rope. And either you can or you can't. Sure. There's no instruction. Yeah. Maybe there is if you're lucky, but I never experienced it. So you watch the kids that can, and then you stand there and you can't. So then, I'm 40 years old and here I am climbing to the top of a rope thinking, how'd that happen? But you get good coaching, you get people cheering you on. a lot of adults in the world, especially women, are like, well, I can't do a pull-up. That's not a thing that's ever going to be available to me. What do you know? So you see enough stuff like that and you're like, wait a minute, this is really fun. And then it gets more and more fun to kind of push yourself. And that's why I got into coaching too, is that being a midwife is kind of like being a coach.
Sure.
There's a lot of just like guiding people, cheering them on, knowing what to say or not say at the right moment. So it felt kind of natural, but once you have enough of those successes and those firsts in the gym, I think if you have like the personality to be a coach, you want to help other people get them, So for me, it's a lot more fun to help someone get their first pull up than to coach. It's fun to coach really advanced people, but they kind of like, they've got a lot going on for them.
Yeah.
But the person who's like, I just want to do a pull up. I'm like, okay, let's make it happen,
Yeah.
And to be able to like walk along with them and see that is super exciting.
Yeah.
So that's why I started down the coaching road. That was maybe 2 or 3 years in.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Well, you're so naturally gifted at it. And I think that teachers in general are born coaches, teachers. You sort of either you're thinking about, I don't know, small details, or you just realize you're looking around like, ooh, the way that I live my life at times is like, I'm always searching for an opportunity somewhere to help someone or to find a conversation where something that I have can be added to them. It was really hard. There's this like long standing CrossFit rule that's like, don't coach, only the coach in the room is the coach and you're not supposed to help anybody, which is like basically telling me I'm going to die because I can't walk by something. Just this morning you're coaching, right? And I look over and Lily is working on her bar muscle ups. So I'm like, pull down on the bar. I'm not even coaching her. I'm a completely different session, but it's really tough for me to think I might have something that could help and not offer it. And I think that the same, the kind of qualities that you bring as a human being and then to your profession and then into this space are why people just gravitate towards you and just feel really impacted by you. I think people will be pretty amazed, knowing what this will probably put us in the explicit category. What a badass you are. Sorry, Apple. But because given the fact that they see you every day and hear, to know that where you came from, not doing any of this stuff. So, like, why should a mother of 2 kids whose bodies change shapes, who's gone through all of these things, why is it even okay that you're in here? Why should somebody be here? Why should they join CrossFit Greenlight? Why should they be doing this? Well,
I think, again, I think it goes back to what I was saying about, I like to ask people what's changing for them if they're in this environment that, in addition to physical capabilities. And it's really, I think for a lot of people, what happens is confidence. And I think, what I see I definitely can speak more to like the experience of women and mothers than people in general.
For sure.
So I'll
let's
take
hone
that
in there
group.
for sure.
But, you have your kids and you pour yourself into them by necessity. But a lot of moms and a lot of women just kind of start to neglect themselves mentally, time-wise, physically. And it's just, there's a certain amount of, not for everybody, but there's a certain amount of like, oh, I used to do that, but then I had kids, and kind of this like, I gave that up, and a deprioritizing of yourself. And of course, there's a certain amount of that has to happen, especially when your kids are young. But I think we're also modeling behavior. And so if what we're modeling is, and I've talked to so many women who say like, I grew up watching my mom diet, like in a cycle, trying to like lose the baby weight or whatever you want to call it. That's how they grew up. And so then what they're learning is once I become an adult woman or a mother or whatever, that's going to be my path too. Rather than modeling for our kids, sons and daughters, okay, you become a parent, you're a grown person operating in the world, and now you're going to take care of yourself You're going to keep striving to not, win the Olympics. That's not why I'm doing this, but to be healthy, be able to go out into the world and take a hike with the kids or go canoeing or whatever the thing is and not be broken the next day. And also just to get up in the morning and like put on your clothes and feel good and not be like, oh, I'm a mom. I can't wear a bathing suit at the beach because I'm old and I'm wrinkly or whatever,
For sure.
There's a confidence, I think, that spills into everything. And that comes from trusting that like you can gain strength, you can gain stamina, and just like that you can use your body for good and that it's not used up. I think a lot of us feel that way after we have kids.
The young girls that I was listening to a couple of parents talk to me this week about their young daughters. And I do hear it a lot from women who are thinking about doing this kind of work, but they're afraid they're going to get too big and too jacked and these kind of things. So can you talk to the young girl right now who would like to, but she's afraid of what that might mean for her body? Like, what do we do about helping to like dispel that notion?
Right. Well, I mean, I think, just on a like physical scientific level, like that's very unlikely to happen to almost any woman. I mean, some people's body types are more predisposed to be like bigger and stockier. Some people are going to be longer and leaner. That's just, but I think, the primary thing that girls and women gain from strength training is strength. Physical and mental. Yeah, for sure. And I think what you see in CrossFit gyms, and I see it with teen girls in these environments, my daughter, Edie, and her friend have been doing the teen class. And it's very different than watching girls walk into another environment with teenage boys. Yeah. The girls come in here and they just walk in like, we're all here to do this. Yeah. And there's no like, oh, the boys are going to be stronger than us. Right. That kind of shrinking, that teenage girls do a lot. That doesn't happen in this environment. Yeah. Because there's a lot of opportunity for everybody to be getting stronger. There's always going to be, this is how it is in here. There's always going to be someone who can do something better than you and someone that you are better than at any given skill. And everybody's lifting each other up. Yeah. So I think if teenage girls can learn how to use their bodies to get stronger and eat to fuel their bodies rather than restricting. I think we need to teach girls to fuel and not to restrict. Yeah. And that spills over into their mental life too. Yeah. It's huge.
Raising my two daughters, our two daughters, my wife and I, Trina, it's really fun to watch them on days when they come in. They're both pretty good technique wise because I'm pretty determined to make sure that they're doing things well. And a lot of times we'll have some other boys in here for the foundational class, this 9 to 12 age group, and they can out front squat them, out back squat them. I say to my daughter, Avery, what do you want to do today? I'll let them pick their thing. She said, I want a back squat. This is earth-shattering stuff. Yeah. When I was like in high school and I'm a junior and all I want to do is like go in and bro out and bench. If you said, what do you want to do? I want a back squat. I'd be like, you're crazy. I'm leaving. So every time they say that, I'm just amazed, but I think what's been really cool to watch them as we've mixed them with boys and girls is there isn't any sort of, this is the great equalizer about a gym like this and about this environment is that you walk in and you are absolutely given all of the back pats that are necessary because you've earned them through your work. No one cares what you're picking up and putting down. We can tell if you're walking in and going to work. And that is whether you haven't exercised for one day in your life or you've been doing this for 15, 20 years, when we get done, we all feel exactly the same. And that is full of wonderful endorphins, accomplished, challenged, and complete, right? And ready to go back out and tackle life, right? One of the things that I'm trying to work into a lot of what we're doing is we are building everyday superheroes here. That's it. Yeah. Everyday the people, your accountant, your midwife, your right? Well, pick some person that you didn't realize about that. And if they're coming into this environment, that individual is the kind of person that you could call on to do nearly anything for you in your life.
Yeah.
My biggest goal whenever we're working with somebody is that they would find a way to be prepared for anything that could ever come in front of them. And they would stare at it and say, I can do that. Right.
Yeah.
And that mom who's just had her 2 kids and she's pretty sure she's destined for like nothingness the rest of the way. She can come in and rediscover exactly how amazing she is.
Yeah.
And what's capable for her next 45 years of her life.
Because it's in there. You just have to find it.
And so, and a lot of times that's the magic of a person like you, of Stephanie, of our coaching staff. That's what we're here to do, is to help you find it. Sometimes we don't have any mirrors on the wall here. That's not what we do. The only mirrors we have are the 2 eyeballs of the coach and the other people that are around you. And they'll tell you exactly, what you're capable of.
And a lot of people have never experienced, I think the other thing in our old gym and this gym, the sensation of, we're all doing a workout together and some people are going to finish first and some people are going to finish last. And like you said, everybody gets the same cheering section. There's not any extra congratulations in the moment for the guy who did it the fastest or the heaviest. Everybody waits for everybody. Everybody finishes together in essence, even if it's at different times. And I had never experienced that either. Watching people scream just as loud for the very last person as the first. That doesn't happen very many other places. Yeah.
It's special.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have you here and to be speaking into people's lives, to be coaching. You're getting a chance to go now. You're going to a national competition in October. We've got our own competition coming up here that we're really excited about. So you and I can riff on that a little bit. But first, let's find out about your competition. What are you getting into, and kind of what are you excited about? Maybe what are you scared of?
What I'm scared of is that I didn't really realize what I was getting into.
Got it. Okay. So what's the name of the competition?
This is the Masters Fitness Collective, which is what it sounds like. Masters in the CrossFit world starts at age 35. And so it's for all the old folks. Yeah.
Super old.
We're not competing against 20-year-olds. Thank God.
Yeah.
So age divisions that are in 5-year increments. And, so there's a qualifier that was online, a bunch of workouts we had to submit. And then they took, a certain number of the top groups for each division. So it'll be a 3-day multi-event CrossFit competition in Indiana. And, so it's fun. You get to be with a bunch of other ladies or guys your age. I like the push of having something to train for, which is why I get crazy and sign up for these things. Yeah. So I'm excited for that. And I've done probably a dozen competitions by now, mostly team, but some individual. Yeah. And I've learned enough through them that I know how to get excited now for kind of the adrenaline and the fear of it. It's more motivating now, like getting ready to go out there and being like, okay, I can do this. What I'm scared for is, the swim. Okay. I hate swimming. Okay. Both my kids were competitive swimmers for years and they keep trying to coach me and they're like, ooh, mom, we got work to do.
Got it. Okay.
But yeah, there's an intimidation factor. And I think that the thing that lingers for me from probably way back is kind of this feeling like, are you really an athlete? Like you never really a little bit of imposter syndrome, kind of like, do you really belong here? And I said that the other day. I was explaining to my kids what imposter syndrome is. And my daughter said, Mom, you qualified, right? I said, yeah. She's like, so you placed high enough to get in, right? Right. I said, yeah. She said, well, then how could you be an imposter? Sure. I was like, okay. Yeah. So she's throwing it back at me now. Cool. Yeah, it'll be exciting. It'll be an adventure and I'm just happy to go. And it's our 20th wedding anniversary that weekend. So my husband was gracious enough
are the kids going? Where are the kids going to go?
We're leaving them behind, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Cool.
So
maybe they can come and do the Festivus games.
They can come and work at Festivus games.
Festivus. All right.
Yeah, they can compete
August
or work.
Can be a judge.
Oh yeah. He knows how to know rep people. He's been around CrossFit enough. He knows.
He knows how to do it.
Or he'll do grunt work. He'll move barbells. He'll do whatever he needs to do.
For sure.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
So that same weekend that you're going to be at your competition, we're going to be hosting the Festivus Games.
Yeah.
And the Festivus Games is a competition that started in 2011. And it really was a competition born of, hey, I can't really do ring muscle ups, and I'm not doing all that kind of weight. There's no reason for me to come to this gym. And this is the competition that is for everyone. And this is that 5K like you spoke about earlier. This is that thing that puts that carrot out in front of you. It's an international competition. They've actually got some host sites in Kenya now.
Oh, wow.
And some other foreign countries that they're working on, plenty in Canada and Mexico. So lots of really cool host sites. And we're going to be hosting that here at Leaf October 22nd. And there are 3 divisions, novice, so brand new to this thing, intermediate, and then a master's 45 plus. So the workouts are already out there in the world. You can see what they are. They're 4 workouts, and they'll all take place on the one day. And I'm really excited to invite everyone through this up and down the valley from all over the place to come into a gym and test themselves, right? To come in and see that this is well within that they're not imposters, that they do belong, and that they're really, really capable of some pretty awesome things. So
it's a blast. I'm going to be sad to miss it.
Yeah. I'm so excited. You know, my brother and my sister-in-law did the Festivus Games last year, you know, and I'd been trying for a number of years to, you know, sort of coax them into the CrossFit world. And they did so all of their own accord, found a great gym, CrossFit Thunderbolt in Illinois. And they've both been wonderful members there for quite a long time. But they did Festivus Games last year, and it was really, really wonderful to watch my sister-in-law do stuff and feel strong and do things that I don't know that she necessarily knew she was capable of before that. And then to watch her really light up on that and what that means for her family, for her daughters and son, for their relationship, and really our entire extended family. So I know the magic of it. And I'm really excited to welcome people in. So if you're interested in signing up for that, it is a pairs competition. But if you're struggling to find a pair, we'll find somebody to pair off with you. So it can be either male in the same category, female, or male in either one of those divisions. So excited about that possibility for our members, and then all of the folks. And really, you don't need to be a CrossFitter. You don't, you know, if you can move your body a little bit and you want to come in and test your capacity, we'd love to have you doing that. So, just want to wrap this thing up with, somebody's out there listening to the podcast, Sonya, somebody's out there in our community, and they're not quite sure. Maybe they're thinking, hey, you know what? I think I probably should go take a look at this gym. Maybe after Labor Day, or my birthday is the 12th of September, so I'll start it then, because that day I'll be 54, and that's the right year to start.
Right.
Why? What's the pathway for that mom, for that professional, for that?
You just got to walk in the door, and I think the right time is tomorrow morning. Because we've all experienced that feeling of like, oh, well, I'll stop drinking wine on Monday, but I'll take the weekend. There's always a little bit of, like, if you just kind of keep pushing it out, you can always find a little bit of an excuse.
Yeah.
And even once you're a consistent member here, you can, the alarm goes off. Well, I'm a little tired this morning. But it's the community that keeps you coming.
Sure.
And so I think you just got to get in the door and get in front of those people's faces and start. Yeah. There's not, the right time is not way out at some imaginary date in your mind. Cause then there'll always be a reason to put it off.
Yeah.
So the right time is tomorrow.
I hope you don't wait. We can't wait to introduce you to yourself. again, right? When you walk in the door here, you're going to find coaches who are going to greet you at the door. They're going to get you checked in. They're going to get you comfortable. They're going to introduce you to everyone in the room. You're probably going to be like way overwhelmed by how many names you had. And we're going to say, who cares about that? And then we're going to warm up. We're going to make sure that the warm up is tuned up for you, that it's not too much, that you understand where things are at. And then we're going to get ready to do the actual workout for the day. And we're going to make sure that that's the right fit for you, right? We're not going, hey, that's the workout. I hope you can flip over 1,000-pound tires.
Right.
We're not doing tires here, by the way.
Endlessly adjustable.
If you're not sure, we don't have any tires here. Don't worry. Maybe someday, but not today. So, but yeah, I mean, it's adaptable. It is. We're meeting you where you're at, and we're just really hopeful that you'll choose today to figure out or have somebody remind you of exactly who you are.
Yeah.
And that's what we're aiming to do. So Sonya, I'm super grateful for you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. If you haven't met Sonya, it's worth the price of admission just to come and hang out with her, watch her work out and prepare for her competition. And she is every woman, right? She is powerful, strong, confident. She's a mother. She's a professional, and she's a wonderful human. And we're grateful to have you here. And thanks for your time.
Yeah.
So if you're ready to come and join us and start your journey, we'd love to talk to you. You can visit leafgym.com, leafgym.com, and book either a free trial class, or you can always reach out. Love to text or call with you and just find out how we can best serve you. So grateful to you for the time, and we'll look forward to seeing the results of your competition and the future forward. So thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Know Your Leading Edge podcast with your host, K.Y.L.E. For more information or to check us out on the web, please visit leafgym.com. Learn character from the tree, values from the roots, and change from the leaf.